Thank you for calling Hail Mary Hotline. This is Bridget. Please hold while I transfer you.
Welcome back to Hail Mary Hotline. I'm your host, Taylor.
I'm your host, Sarah.
And welcome back to your regularly scheduled programming of Hail Mary Hotline this week.
Mm-hmm.
We had to take a little bit of time to formally address all of our thoughts about Georgia, Alabama. But we're back with, our usual weekend recap. And then we're going to revisit some of our predictions from week 0, since we only went through week 5. And hopefully maybe predict some of the rest of the season. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, see what kind of direction the rest of the SEC is heading in and see if we can take our same luck from the first 5 weeks into the rest of the season.
Yes. So, starting off strong, let's just get right into it. Saturday snapshots. Although this one didn't really happen on a Saturday. This was a Friday night game.
And I just love high school Friday night football.
I was talking about FSU Virginia.
Oh, I was too. Don't you worry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Like 2 overtimes aside, I was still talking about FSU and Virginia.
I don't know. That was a great game to watch.
It was.
It was really good. Now, Virginia won 46-38 in 2 overtimes, and that might be the fastest field storm I have ever seen.
Well, when you don't have a barrier standing between thousands and thousands of angry students and the lives of your football team, I'd be pretty terrified.
I would too. If I was the receiver standing in the end zone when that happened, I would be scared for my life. Could you imagine at SEC schools?
No.
At Tennessee. Imagine if there was no barrier between the students at Neyland and the field.
Or could you imagine Sanford without hedges? Spike Squad is the only thing standing in the way of...
Oh, I don't know. Spike Squad might have a handle on it.
Or the paint line? If the paint line is the only
You'd
thing
see afros flying in the air.
Standing between the opposing team and the student section.
Yes.
There might be a funeral of afro wigs.
There might. Yeah. But what a game though. It was really fun to watch, especially there towards the end. I loved the camera crew kept showing the hill in the 4th quarter, and it was every time they showed it there was an extra 2 rows of students added.
Mm-hmm. It's like horror games where you have to keep an eye on something, and then every time you look, they get a little bit closer. You don't know when you're going to die, but you know that you will. I feel like that's how that receiver felt.
Oh, yeah.
Especially.
He probably did. So, I think another team that, there was another 2 overtime game this weekend. Mm-hmm. Oregon and Penn State. Oregon won 30-24, and all I can say is thank God.
Thank God Penn State lost. I'm tired of seeing them ranked so highly and not being a good football team.
They're not.
I'm sorry.
4-21 against AP top 10 teams.
Why in any world would somebody who's ranked, number 3, number 4 preseason and continues to be a top 10 whatever team have that kind of record?
They might as well have an 8-month bye. They play 2 real teams a year. They don't beat those 2 real teams a year. And then they keep going and beating all these schools that nobody's ever heard of or have not had a relevant football program in however many years.
Oregon won, and it's good for Oregon.
It is good for Oregon.
Also, are a team, unfortunately, though, that does not play anybody and does always end up very, very highly ranked. They usually are a team that goes 11-1, 12-0, this, that, and the other, because they are the only team essentially of their conference. But
they don't bother me as much though, because when they get in these situations, they at least put up a fight, and sometimes they do win those games. I feel like Penn State more often than not doesn't, and that's the difference between these 2 teams.
People acknowledge that.
Oh yeah,
people acknowledge Oregon's one relevant game a year just to make sure that they're still, worth keeping up with past new uniforms.
Yeah,
they usually win.
They do.
So they deserve to stay up there.
Yeah.
But moving on to our next irrelevant team, Auburn versus Texas A&M. 16-10 A&M.
What's going on in Auburn? Okay, let me rephrase. How do you average 4 sacks a game 5 games into the season?
Jackson Arnold, for those who don't know, is leading FBS in sacks taken with 20 right now, and 14 of those have been in the last 2 games.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that. I don't understand. And there was so much hype around Jackson Arnold. Like, the Auburn fans that I know were so excited. They were like, wow, this guy is really good. We did a great thing recruiting him out of the portal. He's going to be so good for Auburn. And he has been such a huge disappointment this year.
Mm-hmm. So, Arnold, freeze too, because you're 3 seasons in. Got to get your act together.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to point out Le'Veon Moss, who had, spent that entire game puking and with a stomach bug, did manage to set a career high of 139 yards and a touchdown.
That is impressive.
Rushing.
That is really impressive.
So if anybody can take notes, take it from Moss.
Yeah.
There are no excuses.
No. A&M is now 4-0 for the first time since 2016, which I didn't realize. I thought that they had a 4-0 start since then.
Well, Giga Maggies.
And good for y'all.
That's for Bridget.
That is for Bridget. Yeah. Bridget is very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then our last big game of the weekend, LSU Ole Miss. Ole Miss won 24-19.
Another player spent the entire game puking, but unfortunately they might have gotten food poisoning. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? But another shining star of that game, Chambliss for Ole Miss.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. 0-star recruit out of high school. We found out 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Researching this episode.
Yeah. And the D2 transfer is an up-and-coming household name, especially with everything that he's done at Ole Miss. Passed for 314 yards and 1 touchdown. That's his 3rd straight 300-yard game since taking over for Austin Simmons.
That is a stat right there. That's impressive, especially being able to step up in a role like that. That shows a lot.
And he really wanted to be there. I remember seeing in interviews, he said beating LSU was a dream come true. So how hard he works and how much he wants to be who he is.
Yeah.
And don't say the man didn't get his flowers, because he is doing a phenomenal job.
He absolutely is. Those are the people that, you see them play and you're like, I hope he does well, just because you can see the work that he put in to get there and how much it means to him. And, he just loves the game so much that you want him to do well. Now, I don't remember the final score of Notre Dame and Arkansas. I know Notre Dame had absolutely no issues and beat the brakes off of Arkansas, but they fired Sam Pittman.
Yeah, and their interim coach is probably not somebody that should be interim coach right now.
No.
How he ever was allowed back at Arkansas is
beyond me.
Far beyond me.
But here we are. So, why don't we get into our preseason predictions recap?
For this not being our main job and the first time that we've really done preseason fires like this, I'm going to say for week 5 benchmarks, I don't think we did that bad.
I don't think we did either.
Starting up from Texas, who has fallen very far off their very high horse. We called 4-1 with a loss to Ohio State.
As a preseason number 1 team.
Yes.
Which we got. Yeah. And I'd be pretty disappointed if you found a way to lose one of those other 4 games, other than Ohio State.
Oh, it's not for lack of trying.
No, I know it's not. What was that you found about Arch Manning the other day?
Our preseason Heisman front runner, just wait, is now last in the SEC on 3rd down conversions and red zone conversions, 12th for 4th down conversions, 14th in the SEC for scoring and total offense, 13th for passing yards per game, 9th for rushing yards per game, which is a little more average.
That's
13th in QB passing rank, 12th in long passing plays, last in completion percentage, 13th in quarterback rating, and 14th in interceptions thrown. That's a lot of really low stats.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Again, we haven't seen him play real football since Ohio State. I think Florida this weekend is going to be a big test to see how he deals with playing, because I think it's at the Swamp. I think that's going to be a big test of playing another SEC team on the road. Even if it is a bad Florida team, it's still an SEC team on the road. So I'll be very interested to see, how he kind of adjusts, if he goes back to the way that he played against Ohio State, or if he really has been making some improvements in these last couple games. I know that he actually did have a really good game against Sam Houston. even though he did decide to taunt the player for whatever reason. But I don't know. I'm still not on the Arch Manning hype train, but I think that maybe he does still have a chance to play his best football this season.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the take that we're siding with. Moving on to arguably one of our least favorite teams on the AP poll, Penn State. We had, 4-1 with a loss to Oregon. So, correct. Good on our part.
Yay!
Yeah. We're 2-0 right now.
Yes, we are.
Next, Ohio State, 4-0 win over Texas. Also correct. Now here's where we start to go sideways. We split on Clemson for the sake of argument.
We did.
And I drank the Kool-Aid preseason, so this is mostly my fault.
We didn't drink the Kool-Aid as much as the AP voters drank the Kool-Aid about Clemson. So I think that we did okay. We had...
fourth preseason.
Yeah. We had Clemson as 2-2. We said that they would beat LSU and Syracuse, but not both, and then they would lose to Georgia Tech. Little did we know that they would lose all three of those games. So they're 1-3. I think they still currently have more lightning delays this season than they do wins. Enough said. Clemson's bad. I still don't think we drank the Kool-Aid as much as the AP voters. So, Georgia, we had us 3-1 with a loss to Bama.
As we do.
Enough said.
Sorry.
This is another one where we kind of went wrong. We had Notre Dame 4-0. Notre Dame is not 4-0 for those of you who keep up with college football. They're 2-2 with losses to Miami and A&M, which I will point out they are both quality losses.
But
we just had them winning both those games.
And yeah, we did. They looked a lot better the last time we played them than they did in those first two games. And unfortunately, those are Notre Dame's only really relevant games this season. So I fear it is a long, hard road for them.
And if you don't understand why Notre Dame is so different this season, we've talked about it on past episodes. Like, they've lost a ton of their talent from last year, and it's really a rebuilding year for them. But still, number 7, we had Oregon as 5-0. Oregon is, in fact, 5-0. Alabama, we had as 4-0. They're currently 3-1. Got beat by FSU, but beat Georgia. I hope Vandy beats the brakes off of them this weekend.
Oh, girl can dream.
Vanderbilt has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. Like, I don't care how bad it makes us look. Beat Bama.
I don't either.
Beat Bama. Anyway. Number 9, LSU, we had as 3-2. We said that they would beat Clemson and lose to Florida and Ole Miss. I mean, they beat Clemson and Florida and lost to Ole Miss, so I'm not, not bad.
And they played competitively against Ole Miss.
They did.
Lane Kiffin was just out for blood because somebody was dating his daughter. So.
Yeah. Which, I mean, fair. Also, he said to take the over.
I was going to say, if anybody listened to Lane Kiffin last weekend, I pray over the amount of money that you lost. Because he said to take the over, and they
were like 14 points short, weren't they?
Yeah, they were 13.5 points short.
Yeah.
Of hitting the over. So.
Lane Kiffin lost a lot of people a lot of money this weekend.
Yeah. Do with what you will. Don't gamble according to Kiffin.
No. And then rounding out the top 10 for our predictions, we had Miami 3-1 with a loss to Notre Dame. They're 4-0 with a win over Notre Dame. But, I mean...
not bad.
No, it's not. And then we had the rest of the SEC teams that were in the preseason top 25.
So we had South Carolina 4-1, lost to Vandy. And they're 3-2, lost to Vandy and Mizzou.
I would also like to point out that we said they would lose to Vandy just because we could say that they were going to lose to Vandy. I don't think we actually expected that to happen.
No, it was really just a for the plot kind of thing.
It really was.
Like, how funny would it be if South Carolina lost to Vandy and then they did horribly. So, good job, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
America's sweetheart.
Yeah. 15, Florida, who I would just like to note has fallen off of the people.
You know, we had Florida 3-1, lost to Miami, but they would beat LSU. Florida is 1-3, losses to Miami, LSU, and USF, which is University of South Florida. Oklahoma was ranked 18 preseason. We had them as 4-0, which they are.
Yeah. So go us.
Yay.
19, we had Texas A&M 3-1, beat Auburn, but lose to Notre Dame. They are 4-0, beat Auburn and Notre Dame. But we were only 2 points from them,
Oh, yeah.
losing.
Yeah.
So we
So we were close.
2 points away from being right.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a win.
I will too.
Ole Miss 5-0, who was ranked 21 preseason. We were correct. They are 5-0. Tennessee 4-1, lost to Georgia, ranked 24 preseason, and thank God we were right.
We almost weren't,
We almost weren't.
but we are.
9 straight games. Remember that. And everything else, we only lost by 1 game or 2 points.
Yeah.
So for our first time kind of doing this, I'm pretty happy with where we landed.
I think so. So, I do want to make a few comments on the AP poll this week.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to point out that Vanderbilt is ranked 16.
They are.
The 13 to 19 stretch is kind of wild in my opinion. You have 13 LSU, 14 Iowa State, 15 Tennessee, 16 Vanderbilt, 17 Georgia Tech, 18 Florida State, and 19 Mizzou. That's quite a stretch right there.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgia dropped 7 after getting beat by Bama, and Alabama moved up 7 after beating Georgia. So Bama is 10, Georgia is 12.
And even on coaches' polls, I saw them still placing Georgia 1 spot above Bama.
I did too.
So, and not entirely biased, but I feel like we have a better record leading up to now with who we've played than Alabama. I feel like that should be a little bit more of a factor than just, oh, Georgia lost to Alabama.
I also think a lot of coaches know that Alabama is just Georgia's kryptonite, the same way that we are Tennessee's. So to some extent, I think they know, you know what, this game is just different. You take that out of the equation and Georgia is probably still the better team.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I will get into it again. We talked about this earlier this week, but I'm not too worried about Georgia right now. I think we'll bounce back. I think we have a decent chance to run the table the rest of the season and still find our way into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
But I did see somebody today, actually, with the hot take that Georgia runs the table and meets Bama again in the SEC championship.
Because I fear that the way the schedules are going, Bama might also run the table the rest of the season.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Are we hoping for that?
No.
Absolutely not.
Please do not get that mistaken. No, no, no.
No.
But it's just, a hypothetical I saw.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do here in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But
And we're just kind of addressing the AP poll before we bring up our new predictions for the rest of the week.
yes.
Well, rest of the season. Excuse me.
Same difference.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So do you just want to get right into our predictions?
Yeah, I guess we can kind of talk as we move along. So
Yeah.
marching down the line, we have Ohio State, who is currently 4-0. We are thinking 11-1, lost to Michigan.
And the only reason we say that is because Ohio State, Michigan is to Ohio State recently what Alabama is to Georgia, and it's in Michigan this year, which just kind of makes me think, if Ohio State's going to lose a game, it's going to be that one.
We're hoping that Ohio State goes 11-1 and still manages to lose to Michigan because it's good for football.
It really is good for football.
It keeps them humble.
Yeah, they need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is better when Ryan Day loses to Michigan.
Yes, it is. So at number 2 this week, we have Oregon, currently 5-0. I see them going 12-0. There's really nobody on their schedule that I see really giving them any problems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oregon will do as Oregon does. They'll make a lot of pretty uniforms. The Duck will play Fortnite on the Jumbotron.
yes. He'll read his little books on the sideline. Yeah.
It'll all work itself out.
It will.
Oregon can just sit there and look pretty.
Yep.
Sitting at number 3 on the AP poll, we have Miami, who is currently 4-0. We are thinking 12-0, but could, theoretically, see a loss to FSU.
Which is this weekend. I'm so excited for that game, by the way.
I am too.
It's one of the best games of the weekend. But I'm really hoping Florida State wins this game, especially because I think they're going to be out for blood after last week. But I don't know. Miami's a pretty solid team, so I think Florida State really has their work cut out for them to win that game. But I could see it happening.
This is more of a, just hopeful,
Yeah.
what if, hypothetical, if you will, because those are way coming back
Yes.
into the SEC Instagram
Yeah.
realm.
Moving on. At number 4 this week is Ole Miss, currently 5-0. This may be a little bit of a hot take, but 10-2 gets beat by Georgia and Oklahoma.
And if we have a repeat of last year, squirrels better look out. Y'all are going extinct.
The Squirrel Bear Sharks.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, the loss to Ole Miss last year is what started this.
Mm-hmm.
But if that happens again, it's not going to be
That
good.
might be the end of us.
It might. It really might. Yeah.
Oklahoma is just more of a... Oklahoma's kind of beating everybody at the moment.
And their quarterback's the real deal.
And the quarterback is the real deal. Who they all are outside of said quarterback is up to the discretion of the team and whoever they play.
Remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But if I were going to hope for somebody to beat Ole Miss, aside from us, I could really see it being Oklahoma and kind of hope that Oklahoma wins. Which, moving on to number 5, is Oklahoma. 4-0. We see now 10-2. And we couldn't decide if they were going to lose, who they were going to lose to, so we are kind of going for a 2 of 3 options.
Mm-hmm.
So 10-2, and 2 of those possible losses, we're thinking Tennessee, Bama, and LSU.
Which I could see any of the 3. I could see it being all 3 or none of the 3. But I think realistically, if we're talking about the full season from here on out, I think giving them 2 losses out of those 3 teams is probably pretty good.
And I think that Tennessee is the one that I'm most confident in them losing. But, with the logic of beating Ole Miss beat LSU. So if Oklahoma beat Ole Miss but lost to LSU...
Yeah, it's just
SEC football. You don't think too hard.
The circle gets too complicated, and we don't do that here.
We don't think that much in the South.
No, we don't. So at number 6, we have Texas A&M, 4-0 currently. I think 11-1 with a loss to LSU, just because that game is always crazy. That's the one that went to, I think, 7 overtimes and ended up being like a 74-72 game however many years ago. It's when Burrow was still at LSU, so it was a while ago. But that game is just crazy, just in general. So I could see LSU sneaking one out.
And it's at LSU, which I think was our big kicker for this prediction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope that Texas A&M goes the way that they're going.
I do too.
I think they've made vast improvements from the last 2 seasons, and last season especially.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think anything with like a 10-2 floor, honestly, and an 11-1 ceiling would be an astronomical improvement, and
oh, yeah,
all good news for Texas A&M.
We know they'll win at least one more game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch us right before Thanksgiving when Texas A&M plays Samford, and we will be on the A&M side of that game. But that's November.
We got time. So at number 7, still in the top 10, Penn State, 3-1 currently. I think 10-2, they're going to get beat by Ohio State. It's the way it is.
But then again, Oregon and Ohio State are going to be their only top 10 opponents of the season.
And if you don't beat either one of them, then I really don't think that there's any argument for you to be in the playoffs.
I mean, I think that's our safest bet out of all of these, honestly.
I agree.
So,
Yeah. I mean, Penn State, if you do beat Ohio State, then sure, you can go in the playoffs. But I will not give you that until you beat Ohio State, which you're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
moving on to number 8, Indiana, who is currently sitting at 5-0. We think we'll go 11-1.
Indiana's kind of the same as last year. Why are you up here? Get off my lawn, get out of my pole. Just take your loss, move on, get out your first round of the playoffs. We'll see you next year, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They'll be 11-1 or 12-0. Penn State is really the only one that I could see going either way out of their remaining schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, at number 9, Texas, 3-1 currently. I think they're gonna go 9-3.
Yeah, losses to Georgia and Oklahoma.
Yep. I think they get beat by Georgia.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, maybe a little bit of a toss-up, but still, I think Oklahoma's the better team right now. We'll see how that stands, when we actually get there. I don't remember what week that game is, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'll take Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on to number 10, I say with an eye twitch, for those just listening, Alabama, who is now 3-1. We also, non-biasly, mind you, mostly, be going 9-3 with losses to Tennessee. We think for sure. And
I
then
think so.
either LSU or Oklahoma.
I don't know about both. I would love for both. I would also love for Vanderbilt, but
We couldn't count that in on this because that was just way too anger management from last week.
it was. And I fear if we pick Vanderbilt to win, then they won't. And I so desperately want them to win. So officially, Bama will beat Vanderbilt. We'll see. But no, I definitely think they get beat by Tennessee. I think Oklahoma has the chance to beat them again. Because they beat them last year and they were not anywhere near as good. And I think this is a worse Bama team than they had last year. We'll see. I don't know that LSU has the capacity to beat them this year, but I think they'll at least put up a good fight.
Yeah.
So that kind of rounds out the top 10. We're going to go through the rest of the SEC. So at number 12 right now is Georgia. 3-1 currently. I think 11-1, but Ole Miss and Georgia Tech are scary.
Mm-hmm. I think Ole Miss is going to be a sketchy game.
Being at home helps,
Yes.
but I think it's still going to be a challenge. I really hope that Kirby puts the fear of God into them and says you will not have a repeat of last year. We'll see.
Not in our house, at least.
Not in our house, yeah. And Georgia Tech scares me. They're a pretty good football team this year. And also, it's a Friday night game in the Benz. The Benz is haunted. I don't like Friday night games. It's going to be a scary game regardless. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if Haynes King is still alive by then. I think that might be the bigger question.
Yeah.
But I think hopeful 11-1. Georgia definitely has the ability to beat all these teams, but will they beat all these teams is the real question. Number 13, LSU, 4-1 currently. I think 10-2, lost to Bama. Yeah.
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 And now Tennessee. Tennessee was probably one of the more likely teams to move on to the SEC championship, and I think that we might see more likely than Bama at this point, just with the way that their schedule and how their playing is going.
Yes.
I think it is very likely that we will see Tennessee again more than anybody. So
I don't disagree with that.
do with that what you will. Granted, that is still, playoffs away.
Yeah.
And we'll get there. We'll have a whole episode. We'll do the ESPN bracket. It'll be a really fun one.
It will be a fun one.
But just with the rest of the season, we have Tennessee going 11-1. But go Vandy.
Go Vandy.
We're scared if we pick Vandy to win any of these, they will lose so bad.
And I so desperately want more SEC shorts with Pimp Vandy. So, for my own amusement, I need to not pick Vandy for anything so that they can keep winning.
Realistically, Tennessee does go 11-1 and absolutely beats the brakes off of Vandy.
Yes.
But Vandy's doing pretty good for themselves right now, considering who they are.
5-0 start.
5-0 start.
5-0 start.
So, Gold Star Vandy, and we hope you beat everybody.
Speaking of, coming in at number 16, right behind Tennessee, they are currently 5-0. Unfortunately, I think they're going to go 8-4 just because they have some of those teams down the road that are going to be hard to deal with for them. But prove us wrong.
Yes.
Please.
We hope the best for Vandy, like a proud soccer mom.
Yes. At number 19, we have Missouri, who is also 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri's like the forgotten stepchild of the SEC these days. I kind of forget they're there. I think they'll go 8-4, just because that's the Missouri thing to do.
Now, one of the greater disappointments of the SEC this season, we have Auburn, who is currently 3-2. We see sticking to a consistent track and going 5-7.
Now, something else we're going to do for Auburn, just because of...
For the fun of it.
And because of their, I was going to say performance, but I feel like it's more of lack thereof. Over under how many sacks? We currently have 32.5 written down here. But if we go by their average, which is giving up 4 sacks a game, by the end of the season, they will have given up 48. Which feels like a lot, but at the same time, after watching some Auburn football, I wouldn't put it past them.
Do you just want to do rock, paper, scissors for the over-under? Just to best 2 out of 3? Okay. Wait. If you win...
I get the over.
Okay.
Wait, no, I get the under. No, I get the over.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
Taylor does get to keep the over.
I
and
do
I'll
get to
take
keep the
under
over.
For, devil's advocate sake of argument.
Just because.
But we were sitting here talking through all of this 2 days ago, and we were just like, how many can we get before the end of the season? So, it's just one of those things. It's just something fun to keep an eye on. And
Yeah.
probably one of the more entertaining things about Auburn for the rest of the season.
That's a sad statement right there. Wow.
But we'll keep you posted.
Yes, we will. So, moving on to Mississippi State, who was 4-1, which is also double their win total from last year. I'm pretty sure they went 2-10 last year. So, anything is better than that. But they also have some tough teams coming up down the stretch. I think 6-6 is probably a good place for them to land, which is bowl eligible, which is more than they can say for last year. So Kentucky is currently 2-2. Why their head coach is still there is beyond me. But
somebody else we think that should get fired this season.
Yeah, he's been there forever too. That one still surprises me. But anyway, 5-7.
Yeah. Group them in with Auburn.
They may be sorry they came to Athens this weekend, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Arkansas, who did actually sum up the buyout money to fire their head coach.
They did.
If the interim is better or worse is up to the discretion of those who do or do not know the history of their interim coach.
Yeah.
And that will be up to you and your own Googling, so discretion advised.
Yes.
But Arkansas, who is currently 2-3, we see going 2-10. Or 3-9 with a Mizzou pity win.
Which I could see.
Yeah.
But 2-10 sounds pretty realistic.
Yeah, they're kind of scraping the bottom of the SEC this season.
They got some company down there with Florida, though. So, Florida is 1-3, and it's not going to get better. I think 2-10 is very realistic. I think that they might win over Kentucky. Again, that's a might. I think those two teams are about even. But their stretch of ranked teams coming up is, I feel bad for them. It's a rough schedule.
Got to have one of the worst schedules in all of college football.
Yes.
I would say. Yeah, they just played Miami. They do have Texas this week, which, yikes. Then they have A&M, Miss State, Georgia, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and FSU.
Yikes.
So the first joke I made pretty much of the season was, hey, FSU, you've got 9 weeks to beat Florida. You've got 8 weeks to beat FSU.
No, you don't. We don't want you to win that game.
If they're gonna collect any other win from this season, they've got 8 weeks to figure it out.
They do. I just fear that they won't. Our last SEC team, South Carolina, also bringing up the rear. Not quite as bad as some of the other ones, but still. They're 3-2 right now. I think 5-7 because I think they beat Clemson. Because Clemson is really, really bad. Mm-hmm. But they also have a pretty tough schedule coming up. So.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I think that's pretty realistic for them, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But I think, the biggest games of this weekend, I'm personally really excited for Vanderbilt, Alabama. I don't know how many other people are. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that we live in a time that is where college game day is going is insane.
And where they're both ranked.
First ranked matchup between these two teams since 1938.
Excited is an understatement.
It's such an understatement. Favorite game of the year right here. Mm-hmm. Kentucky and Georgia. I think we know how this one's going to go. Georgia might be a little bit of a slow start, but I think they get the job done. It's a noon game. And then Miami, Florida State, I think will be a really good game.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Yeah. Some of your, bottom of the barrel teams that usually,
yeah,
they'll walk away, they'll win. You might check in on commercial breaks of whatever game you're actually watching just to check how bad they're losing. But no, you like actually want to watch these.
Yeah. It's really exciting.
Yeah. After week 4, it gets to be a really exciting season. So,
Because everybody's already played their cupcakes and now it's like real football.
yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's falling apart at week 4. So, you know,
It's beautiful, isn't
things
it?
are actually getting shaken up and moving a little bit.
Hey, Bridget.
Hello,
Oh
Bridget.
my gosh, hi guys, how are you?
It's been a good week of football.
It has been a good week of football.
It's
Sort
been
of.
intense. Well, yes.
Yeah. Well,
A&M had a good week of football.
A&M! Woo! Giga Maggies! We're getting closer and closer to when we get to go visit them for the
Yes,
stupid
we
A&M
are.
games. We are. Very excited. And kind of like on a completely different note, but like Backstreet Boys. I like myself some Backstreet Boys. That is like my go-to karaoke song. But College Game Day, the panel came dressed up exactly like the Backstreet Boys, and I found out that it was unintentional to look like the Backstreet Boys. The white was for Penn State, I believe, right?
It was. It was for the whiteout game, but they look like the Backstreet Boys, and it's hilarious.
Well, except for Pat McAfee, who wore an off-white blazer to be unbiased.
But he had a white shirt under the off-white blazer.
It looks bad.
It looks
It
really
does.
bad. It looks like you've stained it multiple times, and it just hasn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, I mean, could look spiffy if you had the right outfit to wear with it, but white on off-white is just not.
If it was like all off-white, then it's kind of a joke, and
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
kind of funny.
But the one, it just looks wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're wondering for your wedding, if you want your groomsmen to wear all white suits, this is the picture to look at. Do you
This
want
is
them
the
to
picture.
look like the Backstreet Boys? But I mean, talking about like the Penn State Oregon game, they lost to Oregon. Didn't you say it was like one of their biggest games? Penn State's biggest games.
The
of year?
whiteout is huge.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
It is.
And just to add like a little cherry on top, the Oregon Duck left a little rubber duck on the field. And I think that's hilarious. Like, it's just like a little spite, like kind of like, ha.
Like,
Yeah.
you lost. Hey, go cry about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go cry in your cute little white outfits.
Yes.
Because for legitimately legal reasons, you were not allowed to
To plant a flag.
plant a flag or anything other, very on brand for Oregon.
It is.
It's very on brand for Oregon. And I mean, rubber ducks are nice. Like, I'm sure one of those football players has a Jeep Wrangler. So
Yes.
I'm positive that is going to occur. But anyway, I mean, finally too, like, not a ton of super exciting details, but Paul Feinbaum, is he a host? Did you say
He has the Paul Feinbaum show. He's an
Okay.
SEC football analyst.
which is even more interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's been in the game for a very long time. He is
He
very
has.
up on
Okay.
a pedestal in
Yeah.
the SEC football community.
I see. Okay, well, apparently he wants to take it an even larger step above the SEC community, and he wants to run for Senate.
It's just interesting. Like, I don't really know what to make of it. Just,
That's
okay.
gonna be such an angry office if he runs for Senate.
Yeah.
I could not. Well, I feel like I'd be a little scared to go up to Capitol Hill and have to lobby and get Paul Feinbaum's office.
It would be bad for Georgia specifically because, as Matt Mitchell does, Paul, they're picking me apart. And then Alabama gets everything, and Georgia will never, ever beat them again, ever in the history of the world.
I would fear for my life.
I would
to
too.
Step into that office as a Georgia fan. And
Yeah.
have to face
Feinbaum.
Feinbaum.
He sounds like such a wonderful person.
I mean, he's an angry guy.
Peace, love, Paul Feinbaum. I mean, I don't know. The Senate seems like maybe it'll need some very vocal people in there.
Yeah.
So you never know. But you know what? On that note, thank you for dialing into Hail Mary Hotline. If you see Paul Feinbaum, tell him I mean no hate. We can get coffee sometimes. Okay. This is your host, Bridget.
This is your host, Taylor.
This is your host, Sarah.
Go
Oh,
dogs!
Giga Baddies.